So I am in my 2025 GMC Sierra right now, but the next generation Sierra is just over the horizon, coming for the 2027 model year. And we just got fresh new spy shots, the very first actually spy shots of the 2027 Sierra's interior. So let's dive right in.
MOTROLIX.
Welcome back to the channel. I'm Alex Luft with GMAuthority.com and the MOTROLIX Network. So, the 2027 Sierra, that's right, the 2027 Sierra's cabin is something we have not seen before. We've already shown you spy shots of the 2027 Sierra in all kinds of forms. We've shown you the vehicle as it was towing, the off-road ready AT4, and the even more capable off-road AT4X. And we've also shown you another prototype that we believe to be the Sierra Denali. But now our spy managed to actually get up close and personal with a 2027 Sierra prototype. So he actually managed to get up right to the passenger side front window and get some shots of the cabin from there in the prototype, not in my vehicle, obviously. So what we see here is really a lot of camouflage, but despite the fact that there is a lot of camo, we can immediately tell that instead of adopting the dash and the vertical screen configurations from the Sierra EV and the 2025 and newer GMC Yukon, the 27 Sierra gets a completely unique dash configuration that does not appear anywhere else within the GMC product portfolio, at least not as of this moment. Front and center is a huge infotainment screen that dominates the center stack. The display has a prominent lip at the bottom portion of the display, which is of course useful for resting a palm or a finger while navigating the display. Now, the positioning of this new display, it's resulted in the center stack HVAC vents being relocated lower below the screen. A circular knob to control the volume and also to mute the audio and to power the infotainment system on or off is present and accounted for to the left of these vents. Below these is a set of up-down toggles, but these have been revamped compared to the ones used in other GMC products with vertical center screens like the Sierra EV that I mentioned, as well as the refreshed Yukon. This row of toggles is then followed by another row of buttons and what seems to be the vehicle start button to the very left. A large storage cubby is placed below this row of buttons, and it seems to house dual inductive phone chargers, which would be a first for GM trucks. The only two GM vehicles that currently have dual inductive phone chargers for the front row are the Escalade IQ and the IQL. So if these are indeed the inductive phone chargers for the 27 Sierra, then this will be the very first GM truck to get them. Now, camo is covering most of the center console, but it looks like the 27 Sierra's cabin will make use of the side-by-side cup holders that are seen currently in the Sierra EV. There's also a large armrest and a large storage bin that we can see here in the shots. Moving on over to the driver's side of the 27 Sierra's interior, we can see a new steering wheel that is finally thicker than the thin rim wheel used on the current models. And I say finally because, in my opinion, the current Silverado and Sierra, they have really rugged, bold exteriors. And then you climb inside, and the first thing that you see are these thin steering wheels. And it just doesn't really work. It just doesn't really jive with the overall nature of the truck. You have a bold design outside, and then you get inside and you got this tiny little thin wheel. To me, it just doesn't work. So finally, the 27 model will fix that by giving it an all-new wheel. And the new wheel is a flat bottom steering wheel, which is thicker than that in the current models. The new wheel also houses a set of paddles for maximum gear selection. If you look closely, you'll see that the paddles are integrated with a set of buttons to control track or radio station, forward and back. That's on one side of the wheel, and what I assume is the audio up-down controls are probably located on the other side of the wheel. All the way ahead of the driver is a completely digital display serving as the gauge cluster, And it appears that this is the same unit used on the Sierra EV as well as on the refreshed Yukon. I have to say that this new screen and dash setup in the 2027 Sierra, as far as what we can tell from the spy shots so far, it really does deliver a clean and very tech-forward aesthetic without resorting to the vertically oriented display that has become customary for GMC models. And I should also note that this particular prototype is likely the Sierra Denali based on the fact that a lot of the touch points are either metal or they have a metallic-like trim. For instance, the finish on the AC vent tabs, the center screen trim, the paddle shifters, they're not really paddle shifters, they're maximum gear range selectors, and of course the volume control button. All of these things have this metallic finish to them in very much the same way that we see in the current models. Also, the shifter. The shifter has moved. It has moved from here. We see that this shifter here obviously is mounted in the center console. Well, in the 27 Sierra, it will be relocated to the steering column. So it will be a column shifter, but it will not be your typical old school style column shifter. I say that because the shifter that is going to be present in the 2027 Sierra will be a digital style column shifter. So you really need to only move it slightly up and down. You don't need to go through the entire, grab it on, tuk, tuk, tuk. You got the gate in the column. You don't have any of that. This is a new school, new era type of column shifter. It's essentially completely a digital shifting mechanism. It's not connected in any way directly to the transmission. The only thing that makes it a column shifter is that it's mounted to the column, but it's not your typical traditional old school style column shifter, like I said. Now, moving the shifter to the column, much like, for instance, in the Sierra EV, that is exactly the same kind of shifting mechanism as we see in that truck. It opens up all kinds of space here in the center console. So this type of shifter will be gone, and in its place, you're going to have a lot of room. As a result of that, you're going to get these cup holders. They're going to have the room now to essentially rotate them, and you're going to get side-by-side cup holders, just like you have in the Sierra EV currently. Now, this shifter has already made its way to various GM products and even GMC products more specifically. For instance, the Sierra EV, as I mentioned, already has this kind of shifter, as does the 24 and newer GMC Acadia, as well as the refreshed 2025 and newer GMC Yukon, and the 25 and newer GMC Terrain. So really, the entire lineup, with the exception of the internal combustion powered Sierras and the old school GMC Savannah, all of the GMC models have now moved to this kind of shifter. I should also note that there's a green label on the steering wheel which clearly reads diesel, which of course confirms what GM Authority has told you all along, that the 2027 Sierra 1500 will continue to be offered with a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder engine. The Mini Duramax, the Baby Max, however you want to call it, that engine will continue being part of the lineup, along with the 2.7-liter inline 4-cylinder Turbo Max and 2 new 6th generation small block V8 engines, one displacing 5.7 liters, the other displacing either 6.6 or 6.7 liters. All of this, remember, you heard here first at gmauthority.com. Back to the interior. Now, I don't know if I really like the configuration that I'm seeing on this prototype specifically. I really do like the cabin of my 25 Sierra AT4. The AT4, the AT4X, the Denali, and the Denali Ultimate, they have kind of a unique interior configuration of the center stack and the dash overall. So whether or not the 2027 Sierra will be able to continue to deliver that kind of look and feel, I guess it remains in question, just based on how much camouflage is present in the prototype that we're looking at here. I just hope that GM takes all of this into account and has taken all of this into account as it designed the interior of the next generation trucks. So there's still a lot of questions to be answered about the next gen 27 Sierra. We will continue reporting on all of that and answering all of those questions as we discover all of this information at gmauthority.com, as well as right here on the MOTROLIX channel. So be sure to subscribe and give us a like of this video as well. That really helps us with all the algorithm stuff overall. For GMAuthority.com and the MOTROLIX Network, I'm Alex Luft. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
MOTROLIX.